What if the very mistakes you've been running from were never proof of your failure, but evidence that you are alive, learning, and moving forward? Has this ever happened to you, looking back at a decision, cringing at the outcome, and convincing yourself it was a sign you weren't good enough? What you're about to discover might surprise you. Mistakes are not chains to hold you down, but stepping stones pushing you toward clarity and growth. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Think about it, every wrong turn you've taken, every error you've made was never the end of your story. Errors aren't proof you're broken. They prove you're trying. They are the friction that shapes you, the rough drafts that eventually lead to the masterpiece. Stay with me until the end, because as we unfold this journey together, you'll see how the very moments you label as failures are often the seeds of your greatest transformation. And yet, while mistakes push us forward, expectations often hold us back. How many times have you carried the weight of someone else's standards, or even your own impossible demands, only to feel crushed when reality didn't meet them? Expectations sting, don't they? They create a vision of how things should be, and when life dares to write a different script, it feels like betrayal. But here's the truth: an unmet expectation is often more painful than a hope that never came true. Why? Because expectations are rigid, while hope leaves room for grace. This is where gratitude enters like a quiet revolution. Gratitude doesn't erase disappointment, but it transforms it. When you trade entitlement for appreciation, your entire perspective shifts. You begin to see not what's missing, but what's already present. And that shift is powerful. It lifts the baseline of your happiness and frees you from the endless cycle of never enough. Has this ever happened to you? That moment when you suddenly realize that what you once prayed for, you now take for granted? Gratitude is the bridge that takes you back to joy every single time. So as we move deeper into this reflection, remember, mistakes mean motion, and gratitude is the antidote to the heavy sting of unmet expectations. Together, they form a paradoxical truth. Your errors push you to grow, and your gratitude allows you to rest in peace with where you are, even while reaching for more. This is not about perfection. It's about progress. And here's the fascinating part. When you combine the courage to fail with the discipline to be grateful, you unlock a kind of resilience that can weather almost anything. You stop fearing the fall because you trust you'll rise. You stop obsessing over what's missing because you cherish what's already in your hands. And when you live in that balance between movement and contentment, you begin to discover a freedom that no external circumstance can touch. Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. We've only scratched the surface of what mistakes and expectations truly mean in the architecture of your life. Ahead, we'll explore how these two forces intertwine with deeper principles that shape your mindset, your choices, and ultimately your destiny. The next insight may just change how you see every challenge you face from this day forward. Sometimes the things that weigh us down the most are not the problems themselves, but the way we insist on carrying them. Picture this: you're holding a mountain on your back, bent over, exhausted, convinced that life is crushing you. But the truth is, that mountain was never meant to be carried. It was meant to be climbed. Every challenge is a path, not a prison. When you shift your perspective from seeing obstacles as unbearable burdens to recognizing them as stages in your personal ascent, something inside you changes. The climb may still demand effort, sweat, and persistence, but each step becomes progress, each scar a marker of growth. And isn't it fascinating how much lighter life feels when you stop dragging the weight of it and start treating it as a journey of transformation? This shift in perception brings us to an even deeper realization. You cannot create a positive life while nurturing a negative mind. Your inner dialogue is like the soil from which every action grows. If the soil is poisoned with doubt, resentment, or self-criticism, how can you expect anything thriving to emerge? Guarding your thoughts is not about pretending everything is fine, but about consciously choosing which voices you allow to take root. The hidden truth is that the impact of a single thought can ripple through your entire day, influencing decisions, shaping relationships, and even determining how much strength you find in moments of weakness. When you catch yourself spiraling into negativity, remind yourself that the mind is not a cage, but a compass pointed toward gratitude, possibility, and resilience, and your external reality begins to follow. And here's where momentum plays its secret role. The world often tells us to announce every move, to showcase every effort, to prove constantly that we're doing something worthy. Yet the most powerful transformations often happen behind the scenes, in silence, away from applause or validation. Doing more and announcing less isn't about hiding your life. It's about protecting the fragile spark of your progress from being blown out too soon. Think about it. When you're climbing a mountain, you don't stop at every step to shout how far you've come. You focus, you breathe, you climb. Then one day, when you reach the peak, the view speaks louder than any announcement could. Silence has a strange power. It creates an energy of mystery, and mystery is magnetic. Results revealed at the right time have 10 times the impact of promises spoken too early. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because this combination, releasing unnecessary burdens, reshaping the voice in your mind, and moving in quiet determination, creates a momentum that reshapes not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. It redefines your identity from someone trapped in weight and noise to someone aligned with clarity and purpose. When you stop carrying the uncarryable, when you silence the toxic dialogue, and when you work more than you speak, you align yourself with a current of life that feels unstoppable. This isn't just theory. It's a lived reality for anyone who dares to apply it. If reflections like this speak to you, subscribe now so you don't miss the next insights that can shift your mindset and transform your journey. And maybe this resonates with you because you felt the heaviness of dragging your problems instead of climbing them. Or perhaps you've noticed how one negative thought derails your entire day. Maybe you've even experienced the draining effect of trying to prove yourself instead of building in silence. If any of this feels familiar, write it down in the comments with the phrase, "This makes sense to me," not just as a sign of agreement, but as a way to affirm that you recognize these patterns and are willing to see them differently. Your words can be the beginning of a mindset shift, one that sets the stage for what's coming next. Luck is one of those words people use to explain what they don't fully understand. From the outside, it looks like someone was in the right place at the right time, as if fortune just dropped into their lap without warning. But the hidden truth is that what we often call luck is really the secret alignment of preparation meeting opportunity. Behind the scenes, long before anyone notices, there are hours of effort, decisions made in silence, and quiet resilience that no one applauds. Then, when a door finally opens, the person who has been training in the shadows steps through as if it were destiny. Perhaps it is destiny, but not in the mystical sense most people imagine. Rather, it is the natural impact of readiness colliding with timing. Think about this in your own journey. How many times have you seen someone succeed and thought they were just lucky? What you didn't see were the days they practiced when no one was watching, the nights they prepared when it seemed unnecessary, the countless rejections that taught them what to refine. Opportunity doesn't reward the wishful. It rewards the prepared. Yet while preparation builds strength, anger quietly dismantles it. Resentment is a corrosive fire, but it doesn't consume its target first. It consumes its container. Carrying anger is like holding a burning coal, hoping it will scorch someone else, when in reality, it is your own hands that blister. And the most dangerous part is that anger disguises itself as power. It feels strong in the moment, like a fuel that pushes you forward. But its impact is short-lived, leaving only exhaustion and bitterness behind. True power is found in processing emotions, not storing them. To let go of anger is not to deny pain. It is to refuse to let pain dictate your future decisions. If you've ever carried resentment long after the event was over, you know how heavy it becomes. The person who wronged you may have already forgotten, moved on, or simply doesn't care, while you remain trapped in the flames of your own fury. Liberation begins the moment you realize that letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. and wisdom is never complete without truth. But truth on its own can cut like a blade if not tempered with kindness. Honesty without empathy is brutality. It leaves wounds that take longer to heal than the problem it was meant to address. On the other hand, kindness without honesty becomes manipulation, a sugar-coated silence that pretends to help but only prolongs the harm. The real transformation happens when both walk hand in hand. Saying the hard thing gently is not about softening the truth until it loses meaning, but about delivering it in a way that preserves dignity and respect. Think about moments in your life when someone's words changed everything, not because they told you what you wanted to hear, but because they told you what you needed to hear in a way that allowed you to receive it. That balance between courage and compassion is the mark of maturity, the revelation that truth without love destroys, and love without truth deceives. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when you combine preparation, emotional clarity, and the ability to speak truth with kindness, you begin to craft a mindset that is nearly unshakable. It's the foundation for growth, the kind of inner alignment that not only transforms how you live, but how others experience you. Opportunities don't intimidate you because you're ready. Resentments don't trap you because you've learned to release. Conversations don't fracture relationships because you've discovered the art of honesty with grace. This is the behind-the-scenes work that rarely gets applause, but it's also the very work that defines the quality of your journey. And perhaps you've felt this in your own life, that strange mix of moments when luck seemed to appear, or when anger stole your peace, or when a hard truth, delivered with empathy, left you stronger instead of broken. If these reflections resonate, put in the comments, "I'm also on this path." Writing it isn't just about agreeing. It's a declaration that you recognize yourself in these lessons and are willing to carry them forward. Doubt has a way of creeping in quietly, whispering that you're not ready, that you're not enough, that maybe it's safer to hold back just a little longer. But here's the hidden truth. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever could. Failure at least gives you something to learn from, a moment of feedback, a chance to adjust your path. Doubt, on the other hand, convinces you not to even begin. It keeps the book unwritten, the project unfinished, the journey postponed indefinitely. Perfection, that illusion so many chase, becomes the perfect excuse for never showing up. Yet reality has a strange generosity. When you ship the imperfect version, you invite growth. Feedback from life, even when it stings, is far more valuable than a flawless vision kept locked in your imagination. Transformation only happens when you're willing to put something into the world, knowing it may not be perfect, but trusting it can evolve. And once you begin, something subtle but powerful starts to unfold. The tiny wins, the ones most people overlook, are what pave the way to the greatest victories. Every small milestone, every minor step forward, compounds into momentum. Confidence isn't born in one grand achievement. It's built brick by brick, each success reinforcing the belief that the next step is possible. Imagine this as a long journey through the mountains. No single step takes you to the summit, but each one carries you closer. And when you finally look back, you realize the path you've already carved is extraordinary. The impact of small victories isn't just in what they accomplish externally, but in the way they transform your mindset internally. They become proof that you can persist, proof that you are capable, proof that even slow progress is still progress. But progress without direction can feel like running in circles. Direction always beats speed, because moving fast in the wrong direction only takes you further away from where you truly want to go. The world often glorifies hustle, urgency, constant motion, but speed without clarity is just chaos disguised as productivity. Decisions guided by impatience rarely bring fulfillment. What matters is choosing a true north, identifying where your energy should really flow, and then moving with intention. Even if your steps feel slow, when they are aligned with the right path, they carry you infinitely further than the frantic rush towards something meaningless. Think of it like navigating a ship. A slow vessel heading toward the right shore will always arrive, while a fast one without a compass will only drift farther into uncertainty. The revelations you uncover when you slow down, when you adjust your compass, can often change the entire trajectory of your journey. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because doubt, small victories, and direction form a trio that can completely reshape the way you see your own growth. When you silence doubt and give yourself permission to try, when you recognize the impact of tiny wins, and when you focus more on where you're headed than how quickly you're getting there, you begin to build a foundation of resilience. This is the behind-the-scenes truth of transformation. It isn't about one sudden moment of success, but the accumulation of imperfect attempts, celebrated milestones, and steady steps guided by clarity. And perhaps you've felt this yourself, the way doubt paralyzes, the way a small achievement ignites your confidence, the way slowing down to choose the right direction saves you from wasted years. If any of this resonates with your own experience, write in the comments, "I'm moving forward." Use it as a declaration, a reminder to yourself that progress isn't measured by speed, but by the courage to begin and the wisdom to keep going. Solitude has always carried a paradoxical weight. For some, it feels like emptiness, a silence that exposes every hidden insecurity. For others, it is the very soil where transformation takes root. Being alone is not a punishment, it is tuition for growth. It is the quiet classroom where you finally hear your own voice instead of the endless noise of the world. In solitude, distractions fade, and the subtle compass of your inner truth begins to point toward the next right step. Think of it as the behind-the-scenes work most people avoid, while others rush to fill every silence. You are investing in depth, clarity, and self-discovery. And isn't it often in those moments of stillness that the most powerful revelations come? The ones that shift your entire mindset and reframe your journey? Yet even as solitude teaches, comparison threatens to undo its lessons. The temptation to measure yourself against someone else's highlight reel is constant, but it is also a hidden thief of joy. Don't compare roles, own yours. Every person is walking their own unique path, filled with detours you cannot see and struggles they may never reveal. Measuring yourself against them is like judging your beginning against their middle. Your role, your choices, your pace, these are not just valid, they are irreplaceable. No one can play your part better than you, and the impact of your journey is not diminished simply because it looks different from someone else's. Transformation is not about matching another's timeline, but about owning your own with honesty and courage. When you compare less and live more, you start to notice the progress that was invisible before, the victories that belong only to you. Still, even on the right path, exhaustion creeps in. Fatigue lies. It tells you that you are finished when in truth you're only depleted. Rest, don't quit. The danger of burnout is that it makes you believe your journey has no value, when what you really need is recovery. Rest is not weakness. It is strategy. Athletes understand this. Musicians understand this, even nature itself demonstrates it with cycles of renewal. Trees shed their leaves, not because life is over, but because restoration is underway. You too must recognize that stepping back is not abandoning your destiny, but preserving your ability to pursue it. The mindset shift here is vital. Quitting ends possibility, while resting recharges it. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when you weave solitude, self-ownership, and the wisdom of rest together, you uncover a framework for resilience. Solitude gives you clarity. Owning your role protects your purpose, and resting ensures you have the strength to continue. This combination reshapes your decisions, strengthens your journey, and prepares you for the moments that demand your best. And perhaps you've felt this in your own life, the surprising clarity that comes from being alone, the hidden freedom of refusing comparison, the revelation that resting isn't giving up, but gathering power for what comes next. If this resonates with you, write in the comments, "This makes sense to me." Put it down as a reminder that you see the value in pausing, reflecting, and continuing with greater strength. Boundaries often feel like walls, but in truth, they are doors you choose when to open and when to close. Without them, kindness becomes a slow erosion, draining you until there's nothing left to give. Boundaries protect your mental health in ways most people never see, like a hidden framework behind the scenes of a house, keeping everything standing tall. Saying no is not cruelty. It is self-respect condensed into a single syllable. When you honor your limits, you're not shutting others out. You're protecting the part of yourself that makes generosity sustainable. And isn't it interesting how those who respect your boundaries are usually the ones who truly care, while those who push against them reveal a hidden truth about their intentions? But protecting your mental health is only one part of the equation. How you use your time is just as important. Procrastination may disguise itself as harmless delay, but in reality, it is a silent tax on your future. Each someday quietly robs you of compound results, the way interest multiplies when you start early. Every hour spent waiting for the perfect moment is momentum lost. Transformation doesn't begin with giant leaps. It begins with a small, irreversible action that marks the difference between someday and day one. A single decision. To start, whether it's writing one page, making one call, or taking one step, creates a ripple that shifts your entire journey. The hidden cost of procrastination isn't the work left undone. It's the future self that never gets built. And yet, even when people break free from procrastination, many find themselves trapped in another subtle cage, the steady seduction of a paycheck. Salary isn't a sedative for dreams, though many treat it that way. A consistent income can bring comfort, yes, but it can also lull ambition into silence. The danger isn't the paycheck itself. It's forgetting that your life cannot be measured only in deposits and withdrawals. A job might sustain you, but it should never numb the spark of your own vision. This is why keeping a project that belongs to you is vital, a pursuit not owned by a boss, not defined by a company, but a creation tied directly to your identity. Behind the scenes of every great transformation lies this truth. Fulfillment often grows from what you build outside the expectations of others. Whether it's a passion project, a side endeavor, or a personal craft, it is the reminder that your value is not confined to your role on someone else's stage. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when boundaries, time, and personal vision align, the impact on your mindset is extraordinary. Boundaries ensure you don't lose yourself in the demands of others. Taking action breaks the illusion of delay and plants you firmly in the present. And pursuing something that belongs to you keeps your inner fire alive, even when routine tries to dim it. Together, they form a framework not just for survival, but for transformation, a life where decisions are made with clarity and where dreams are not traded away for comfort. And perhaps you felt this tension yourself, the exhaustion of saying yes too often, the quiet guilt of postponing what matters, or the hidden restlessness that comes from realizing your paycheck isn't the same as your purpose. If these words echo something within you, write in the comments, "I'm protecting my fire." Let it be both a declaration and a reminder that your energy, your time, and your dreams are worth defending. Expectation is one of the most powerful forces shaping our inner world, and yet it is often the very thing that steals our peace. When you expect too much from outcomes you cannot control, you hand over your happiness to variables outside yourself. Think about it. How many disappointments in your life were really the result of your own inflated attachments, not the reality of the situation? Expect less, but appreciate more, and suddenly life feels lighter. Gratitude doesn't just soothe, it transforms your perception. It shifts your focus from what went missing to what has always been present. By raising your standards for effort instead of obsessing over results, you reclaim control of your emotional balance. This isn't lowering ambition, it's raising wisdom. The hidden truth is that fulfillment comes not from everything turning out the way you imagined, but from the way you interpret what unfolds. And yet, even as we learn to manage expectations, there's another subtle trap: the way we see people. Many cling to promises, words, or potential, ignoring the clear evidence of patterns that repeat themselves over and over. But behavior is always the truest language. What someone shows you in action reveals far more than what they say in intention. Hope can blind you, pulling you into a fantasy of who someone might become, while their choices are quietly painting the real picture. Seeing people for who they are, not who you hope they will be, is one of the most liberating forms of self-respect. It's not cynicism, it's clarity. And clarity protects your energy from being wasted on illusions. Behind the scenes of every relationship, whether personal, professional, or even casual, there is this revelation waiting to be accepted. Words may inspire, but consistency confirms. This ties directly into the role of experience in our transformation. Books, theories, and advice have their place, but nothing replaces the impact of lived reality. Experience is the best teacher because it doesn't flatter you with what you want to hear. It tests you with what you need to face. Reading informs, but doing transforms. Knowledge alone can give you the confidence of preparation, but action gives you the scars and wisdom of truth. Each decision, each risk, each failure, and each victory becomes a living textbook written by your own hands. And unlike abstract knowledge, experience never leaves you. It shapes your instincts, refines your mindset, and gives you revelations you could not have scripted in advance. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when expectation, perception, and experience intersect, they form the compass of personal growth. Lower expectations protect your peace. Sharper perception protects your heart and lived. Experience forges your strength. Together, they create a kind of resilience that no external force can take away. It is in this combination that people begin to walk differently, more grounded, less desperate, more intentional. They begin to realize that transformation is not sudden. It is accumulated wisdom layered moment by moment, choice by choice. And once you see it this way, you stop fearing mistakes, you stop resenting delays, and you stop holding on to people who show you they cannot stay. Instead, you focus on becoming, on evolving, on moving steadily forward. If any of this resonates with what you've lived times when your expectations betrayed you, when someone's actions revealed more than their words, or when experience gave you a lesson no book could write, in the comments. I learn by living. It's a phrase that reminds us all that the most important truths aren't handed to us. They are carved into us through the journey itself. There's something profoundly moving about. Imagining the younger version of yourself, the one who didn't yet know how the world could bruise, disappoint, or test you. That younger self carried dreams without the weight of comparison, fears without the experience to tame them, and questions that only time could answer. To be the person your younger self needed is not just a poetic idea. It's a radical act of transformation. It means turning your scars into service, using the lessons hidden behind the scenes of your own struggles as guidance for the journey ahead. Every mistake, every heartbreak, every revelation you've survived is a map your past self would have begged for. When you act with that perspective, you no longer see pain as wasted. You see it as material for growth, for becoming your own mentor, for creating impact not just on yourself, but on those who cross your path. But to step into that role fully, there's a hidden truth you have to accept. You are not your thoughts. They do not define you. Thoughts come and go like clouds across a sky, sometimes darkening the view, sometimes breaking open to reveal clarity. The real you is not the storm, but the observer, the one who notices the weather of the mind without being bound to it. This is one of the most liberating revelations anyone can experience. The moment you realize you don't have to believe everything you think. You can create space, pause, and decide which thoughts earn the right to remain in your awareness. This shift in mindset is powerful. It breaks cycles of self-sabotage and opens doors to decisions rooted in clarity rather than noise. It's a behind-the-scenes secret of mental freedom. Mastery is not in controlling every thought, but in choosing which ones you water until they grow. And while mastering the mind shapes the direction of your life, there's another foundation that must be honored: your health. In a culture obsessed with hustle, it's easy to forget that the body has limits, and when those limits are ignored, the consequences ripple into every area of existence. Many people chase money and achievements so hard they forget the simple truth: without health, none of it matters. The hidden cost of constant grinding is not just exhaustion, It's years shaved off your vitality, relationships strained by burnout, and dreams postponed by illness. The irony is cruel. Spend decades trading health for wealth, and then spend the wealth trying to recover what was lost. But the math rarely works in your favor. True, transformation comes when you reverse the equation, when you invest in your health now, before life forces you to. Sleep is not wasted time. It's the silent architect of resilience. Food is not just fuel. It's information telling your body how to perform. Movement is not punishment. It's a declaration that you intend to stay alive, strong, and ready for the opportunities waiting to meet you. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when you align these three truths, being your younger self's hero, mastering your relationship with your thoughts, and protecting your health, you create a kind of inner harmony that radiates outward. You stop living reactively and begin living intentionally, building a life from the inside out instead of chasing validation from the outside in. This isn't just mindset work. It's an entire shift in identity, a revelation that who you are becoming matters more than what you've accumulated. You become the quiet strength in the room, the one whose energy speaks louder than words, the one whose journey inspires without needing to announce every step. And I want you to reflect on this deeply. If you've ever felt the weight of thoughts you didn't choose, or the pressure to sacrifice your well-being for external success, or the longing to give your younger self the protection and guidance you once lacked, write in the comments. I'm reclaiming my balance, because sometimes naming the step is what solidifies the transformation already beginning inside you. Tests in life have a way of showing up uninvited at the most inconvenient moments, often disguised as setbacks, obstacles, or even betrayals. But the hidden truth is that trials are not just about exposing where you're weak. They are opportunities to uncover the reservoirs of strength you didn't even know were there. Every time you're pushed to your limits, you meet a version of yourself that existed quietly in the background, waiting for a reason to emerge. That grit, that resilience, doesn't appear when everything is easy. It reveals itself in pressure. Instead of asking, why me? The shift happens when you begin asking, what is this revealing in me? That curiosity transforms the experience. What once felt like a curse begins to look like a mirror, reflecting the untapped depth of your character. It's in these behind-the-scenes battles, the ones few people ever see, that true transformation begins. And in the midst of these tests, there is an art often overlooked, the art of silence. Say less. Listen more. The world is noisy, filled with voices eager to speak, but hesitant to truly hear. Yet silence rarely needs apology. It allows you to absorb the full weight of what's being said, to notice not just the words, but the pauses between them, the tone, the hidden emotions behind the surface. Listening is more than courtesy. It's a strategy. It refines your judgment, sharpens your instincts, and deepens your relationships. People reveal their truths when you give them the space to speak without interruption. And isn't it fascinating how often silence tells you more than words ever could? In conversations, restraint can be more powerful than persuasion, and patience more impactful than noise. By listening, you learn not just about others, but about yourself, your impulses, your triggers, your ability to hold space without needing to control it. From this silence, another revelation emerges. Calm is a superpower. In a world addicted to urgency, composure becomes a rare and magnetic force. Calm doesn't mean apathy or weakness. It means choosing steadiness in the storm. Clarity always follows composure. When you make decisions from a place of panic or anger, they are almost always reactive and short-sighted. But when you anchor yourself in calm, you create space for wisdom to surface. Think about the most impactful leaders, mentors, or guides you've encountered. They were not the ones who shouted the loudest or rushed the fastest. They were the ones who held their center when everyone else lost theirs. Calm disarms conflict, invites trust, and multiplies your capacity to see the bigger picture. In moments of crisis, being the steady one is not just a strength for you. It becomes a lifeline for others who look to you for direction. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because the connection between tests, silence, and calm is not accidental. It's a sequence that builds resilience. Trials reveal your strength. Silence refines your wisdom, and calm channels both into intentional action. This is the hidden architecture of growth, the part of the journey that happens far from the spotlight, but leaves the greatest impact. When you begin to see life's challenges not as punishments, but as invitations to discover, when you choose to listen more than you speak, and when you cultivate the rare composure that few possess, you begin to navigate life differently. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop being shaken by every storm and start becoming the anchor others can hold on to. And maybe this speaks to something you've already felt, that a test you once cursed ended up showing you your strength, or that silence gave you an insight words never could, or that calm saved you from making a decision you would later regret. If it resonates with you, write in the comments, "I choose calm." Use it as both a reminder and a declaration, a way of anchoring yourself in the mindset that steadiness is not just survival, it's transformation in motion. Discipline is so often framed as a rigid system, a set of rules imposed from the outside, when in truth it is one of the deepest expressions of self-respect. To be disciplined is not to live under chains. It is to live in alignment with the future you want to inhabit. Consistency is a form of love for your future self, a way of keeping promises no one else may ever see, but that shape everything about who you are becoming. Think about it when you do the hard thing in silence. When you show up even without applause, you are building a behind-the-scenes foundation that makes your future stronger. Every act of discipline whispers, "I matter to me." It's less about the action itself and more about the identity it reinforces. The hidden truth is that discipline isn't punishment, it's freedom. Because when you consistently do what needs to be done, you liberate yourself from regret. Alongside discipline comes another revelation that few embrace fully. Privacy is power. In a world where everyone seems to live with their lives on display, withholding certain parts of your journey becomes an act of quiet rebellion. Not everything deserves an audience. Building quietly, working in silence, allows your growth to mature without interference, envy, or unnecessary noise. Privacy creates a sacred space where your vision is safe from premature judgment, where the energy of your transformation isn't diluted by the opinions of others. And when the time comes to announce what you've built, the impact is undeniable because it's real, not projected, not imagined. The strongest stories are not the ones told in fragments online, but the ones revealed in full, shaped in private, and unveiled with undeniable results. And yet, even with discipline and privacy, life still delivers its share of pain. Pain, however, is not punishment, it is tuition. It is the cost of entry into the deeper wisdom that comfort could never teach. Let hurt make you wiser, not harder. The danger lies in turning pain into armor so thick that nothing, not even joy, can get through. The hidden truth is that pain is only wasted when it leaves you bitter. But when you extract the lesson, when you use it to refine your decisions and sharpen your vision, it becomes one of the most valuable teachers you will ever encounter. Pain strips away illusions, forcing you to confront reality as it is, not as you wish it were. It reminds you of your resilience, reveals what truly matters, and often pushes you toward transformations you might never have chosen willingly. The question is not whether you will face pain, it's whether you will let it sculpt you into someone stronger or sink you into someone colder. Now I want to go even deeper into this topic, because the fusion of discipline, privacy, and pain creates a unique alchemy of growth. Discipline gives you the structure to move forward consistently. Privacy shields the process until it's ready, and pain injects the raw lessons that theory can never deliver. Together, they form a journey that is not linear, but layered, each piece strengthening the other. Behind the scenes of every remarkable life, you'll find these three elements quietly at work, shaping a person into someone who is both resilient and intentional. And maybe you've lived this already. You felt the weight of showing up when no one was watching. You've discovered the serenity of keeping parts of your life away from the spotlight. Or you've endured pain that left scars, but also gave you wisdom you carry today. If that resonates with you, write in the comments, I grow in silence, because sometimes the most powerful declaration is the one that acknowledges that transformation happens quietly, deeply, and often when no one else is looking. Time is the only currency you can never earn back, and yet it's the one most often spent carelessly. People guard their money with strict budgets, analyze every expense, and strategize on how to grow it, but when it comes to minutes, they give them away as if they were infinite. The hidden truth is that time is far more valuable than cash, because money can be regained while the moment, once gone, is lost forever. Guard your minutes with the same intensity you guard your wallet, and then invest them with even greater wisdom. Every conversation you choose, every distraction you avoid, every focused block of effort you dedicate to something meaningful, these are deposits into the life you are building. Time, used intentionally, compounds into transformation. Time, wasted on what doesn't matter, becomes the silent thief of potential. And if you want to see the real impact of your decisions, don't look at your bank statement, look at your calendar. That's where the story of your priorities is written. But even when you master the art of valuing time, there is another layer, the people you spend it with. Choose allies by their habits, not just their words. Your circle is not just companionship. It is a forecast of your future. The people closest to you influence your mindset, your decisions, your energy, and even the standards you unconsciously accept for yourself. It's not about surrounding yourself with perfection, but about choosing those who are on their own path of growth, who carry discipline in their actions and integrity in their choices. Words can sound inspiring, but habits reveal the hidden truth of who someone really is. When you stand near people whose lives you'd be proud to trade places with, not in material possessions, but in mindset and integrity, you align yourself with a current that pulls you upward. The wrong circle will drain your time and dilute your vision. The right one will sharpen you, challenge you, and remind you what's possible. Behind the scenes of every remarkable journey, you'll always find a supportive circle quietly shaping the atmosphere that made it possible. And then comes the part most of us resist: patience. In a culture addicted to instant gratification, patience feels like weakness, as if waiting is a passive act. But patience is not passive. It's powerful. Patience compounds. It builds resilience, teaches endurance, and allows time to reveal what rush could never create. Great things almost always take longer than you want, but often less than you fear. The journey is rarely a straight path. It's filled with a messy middle, the in-between where things look uncertain and progress feels slow. Yet this is where transformation actually happens, in the quiet stretch between beginning and breakthrough. Persisting through that space is what separates those who only dream from those who arrive. Patience allows you to keep going when the excitement fades, when the results are not yet visible, and when quitting would be the easiest option. In that persistence, your character is forged, and your eventual victories carry a depth they never would have had if they had come too quickly. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because when you connect the value of time, the influence of your circle, and the force of patience, you begin to see growth not as a single decision, but as an ecosystem. Your minutes shape your days, your allies shape your direction, and your patience shapes your endurance. This combination creates a momentum that is almost impossible to stop, because it's not built on bursts of effort. It's built on sustained intention. The hidden revelation is that mastery of these three is what quietly rewires a life from the inside out. And maybe this speaks to you directly. Maybe you've noticed how much time slips through unnoticed, how certain people either elevate or drain you, or how impatience has led you to give up just before something was about to unfold. If so, write in the comments, "I'm investing wisely." Use it as a reminder that your time, your relationships, and your patience are the currencies that ultimately define the quality of your journey. Letting go is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. People often think holding on shows determination, but in reality, it is the act of release that requires courage. When you finally put down what no longer serves you, whether it's a job that drains your spirit, a habit that sabotages your growth, or even a relationship that weighs you down, you create space for something better to enter. The hidden truth is that life cannot fill hands that refuse to open. Transformation begins not just with what you pursue, but with what you are willing to release. Letting go is not about failure. It is about alignment. Behind the scenes of every breakthrough, there was first a moment of surrender, a conscious decision to stop clinging to the wrong thing so the right one could arrive. And once that space is cleared, gratitude becomes the force that fills it. Gratitude has the power to upgrade an ordinary day into something extraordinary. What you count grows. By noticing small good, moments, the sunlight through the window, a kind word from a stranger, the fact that you made it through a difficult week, you inoculate yourself against cynicism. Gratitude doesn't erase struggle, but it softens its edges, reminding you that even in hardship, there are reasons to smile, reasons to keep moving forward. The mindset of appreciation is like adjusting the lens of a camera. What you focus on expands, and suddenly, life looks brighter. This is not about ignoring problems. It's about refusing to let them blind you to the good that coexists with them. Gratitude grounds you in the present and equips you with resilience for the future. But even gratitude requires discernment in where you place your energy, which brings us to focus. So much of human frustration comes from trying to control what was never ours to command. You don't run the world, but you do run your response. The moment you redirect your effort away from the uncontrollable and toward what you can actually influence, you regain power. Decisions become clearer, stress begins to loosen its grip, and progress feels tangible again. Focusing on controllables is not resignation, it's strategy. It's an acknowledgement of the hidden truth that power lies not in fixing everything, but in mastering your choices, your actions, your attitude. When you aim your energy where it truly matters, the impact multiplies. You stop scattering yourself across impossible outcomes and instead concentrate on the areas where real transformation is possible. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because the synergy between release, gratitude, and focus has the potential to redefine your journey. Releasing creates the room you need. Gratitude shifts the atmosphere you live in. And focus ensures your energy is invested where it counts. Together, they build a mindset that is lighter, stronger, and more intentional. Behind the scenes, this is what resilience actually looks like. Not some abstract strength, but daily decisions to let go, to appreciate, and to focus. It's a quiet revolution, one that doesn't always look dramatic from the outside, but that completely rewires the inside. And maybe you've already felt this in your own life. The relief of letting go of something that was suffocating you. The subtle joy of noticing small blessings. The calm clarity of focusing only on what's within your reach. If this speaks to you, write in the comments. I choose clarity. Let it serve as a marker, not just of agreement, but of your decision to live with lighter hands, a grateful heart, and a sharper focus. Fear has a strange way of magnifying itself in stillness. The longer you wait, the larger it grows, until even the smallest step feels impossible. Yet the hidden truth is that fear fades with action. We generate fears by sitting still, imagining every possible outcome, rehearsing failure in our minds before life even gives us the chance to try. But the moment you move, when you take even the tiniest step forward, those imagined monsters begin to shrink. Action doesn't eliminate uncertainty, but it gives you evidence that you are capable of facing it. Transformation rarely comes from waiting until you feel ready. It comes from deciding that readiness is built in motion. Fear is loudest in hesitation, but it loses its voice in movement. And when you do begin to move, you'll discover another shift. Purpose always outweighs approval. Chasing applause is seductive. It offers quick validation, the illusion of significance, but it bends your path away from meaning. Living for approval makes you a mirror, always reflecting what others want to see, never shining with your own light, but building with purpose. That creates impact that doesn't need clapping hands to be real. Approval fades quickly. Purpose sustains you through seasons of silence, criticism, and even failure. Behind the scenes of every enduring journey is this revelation. Respect is the byproduct of authenticity, not the currency to buy it. When your compass is meaning, not applause, Your direction holds steady, no matter who is watching. But even with purpose, life will test you. And it is in those tests that resilience is trained. Resilience isn't something you either have or don't have. It's a muscle built by lifting the weight of challenges. Each time you fall and rise again, you are not just returning to where you were, you're coming back with more clarity, more strategy, more strength than before. Falling is not the opposite of growth. It is part of the process that forges it. Every time you rise, you carry the revelation that pain didn't break you. It trained you. And this cycle, though exhausting, is what builds a kind of sturdiness that can't be faked. Resilience is not glamorous. It's forged in the messy, uncelebrated moments when you decide to get up one more time than you've fallen. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic because the interplay between fear, purpose, and resilience shapes the entire architecture of your mindset. Fear teaches you where your limits appear. Action shows you they are not fixed. Purpose keeps you moving in the right direction. And resilience ensures you can weather the storms that inevitably come. Together, they create a journey that doesn't just lead to achievement, but to transformation. And this kind of transformation isn't built in grand gestures. It's the quiet, daily decision to move despite fear, to choose meaning over validation, and to rise when falling feels easier. These choices form the hidden truth of strength. It's not innate, it's trained, refined, and lived into existence. And maybe you felt this in your own life, the way fear kept you frozen until you finally acted, the way chasing approval left you empty, or the way resilience only appeared because life gave you no choice but to rise. If this resonates with you, write in the comments, "I rise stronger." Use it not just as agreement, but as a personal reminder that your setbacks are not the end of the story. They are the weight that shapes your strength for what's coming next. Starting before you feel ready is one of the boldest acts of courage you can take, because readiness is often an illusion. We convince ourselves that if we wait just a little longer, gather just a little more knowledge, or polish the plan just a little further, we'll finally feel prepared. But the hidden truth is that perfection doesn't prepare you, it paralyzes you. Perfection postpones impact. The longer you wait, the more momentum you lose, and the more your dream fades into theory instead of practice. Transformation begins not in flawless execution, but in motion. When you start, even with trembling hands or an imperfect draft, you allow reality to give you feedback. You learn faster by doing than by endlessly preparing. Progress, not perfection, becomes your polish. Every adjustment made in public, every step taken in real time, is a refinement that no amount of hesitation could ever deliver. And once you take that first step, another revelation emerges. You must become your own hero. This is perhaps one of the hardest truths to accept, because deep down, many of us hold on to the hope that someone else will step in, rescue us, or provide the missing piece. But no one is coming to save you. That's not meant to sound harsh. It's meant to remind you of your own power. You are the one responsible for choosing direction, for keeping promises to yourself, for writing a story your future self will be proud to live. Being your own hero doesn't mean you walk alone. It means you stop waiting for external permission to begin your journey. It means you look in the mirror and decide that the person staring back is capable of becoming everything you once wished someone else would deliver. The hidden impact of this mindset is profound. When you take ownership of your transformation, you not only shape your destiny, you inspire others too. Recognize their own strength. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic, because starting before you're ready and becoming your own hero are not just motivational phrases, they are decisions that rewire the way you live. To start before you feel prepared is to trust that clarity will come through action, that growth will meet you on the path, not before it. To become your own hero is to embrace responsibility, to stop outsourcing your future, and to carry both the weight and the reward of your choices. Together, these two shifts create a mindset that no setback can fully derail. You are no longer waiting for the right conditions or the right savior. You are already moving, already leading yourself, already writing a story where you are both the protagonist and the author. This is the behind-the-scenes truth that most people never see. Greatness isn't a single moment of arrival. It's a series of small, brave beginnings strung together by the refusal to quit. And perhaps you've felt this in your own journey, the endless waiting for readiness that never came, or the quiet realization that no one else was going to carry you forward, that it had to be you. If these words echo something you know to be true, write in the comments, "I am my own hero." Let it be a declaration, not just of independence, but of responsibility. A reminder that you are strong enough to begin before you are ready, and resilient enough to carry yourself through the story you are still in the process of writing. If you made it all the way here, it probably means something in these words connected with you, and that's exactly why I create this kind of content. So, if you want to keep receiving reflections that add value to your journey, make sure to subscribe. It's the easiest way to stay close to everything we explore together. And since you're one of the few who stayed until the very end, leave a comment saying, "I'm with you until the end." I'd love to know who walks all the way through with. Don't forget to leave a like too. It helps me understand that these conversations are making a difference. And if you're ready to go further, there's a video right here that complements this topic beautifully. Click and continue with me over there.